Hi, everybody. This is Bob Gale, co-creator of Back to the Future, and you're listening to Brad Gilmore.
Doc! Okay, relax, Doc. It's me. It's Martin.
No, it can't be. Just sent you back to the future.
Yeah. Oh, I know you did send me back to the future, but I'm back. I'm back from the future.
Great Scott.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
Whoa, this is heavy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Back to the Future, the podcast, the only podcast looking back in time to the greatest film trilogy of all time, Back to the Future. I'm your friend in time, Brad Gilmore. Welcome to the show, Season 10. We move forward. And I just want to say thank you for everyone for joining us on this edition of the show. We're going to continue our look at the original story and script for Paradox, the second film, the sequel, the script that we've been reading earlier in the podcast. We're going to finally get back into the reading of it. I had some technical issues with this. What happened is I had recorded all these things and I had lost them. I had transferred computers and I started them again, and then there's just been haywire, but nothing that you all need to know. You don't need to know this, but I'm just sharing it with you. Okay? Now, a full disclosure on what you're about to listen to. This is Paradox Part 3. Small issue with this one is, again, in my technological woes, I recorded this. I had my Rodecaster Pro on. I had my headphones on. I spoke into the microphone. My fatal flaw, and I even saw audio waves occurring during the recording. My fatal flaw is I did not have the Rodecaster connected to the computer. So what you're going to hear is audio from the laptop microphone. Not the greatest, as we all can expect. However, it does suffice for the purposes of this podcast today as we soldier on throughout Season 10. There's going to be Part 3. There's going to be several other parts to it. Now, good news for you is I realized it once I stopped this recording. I stopped this recording a little early because I saw something wasn't right, so I decided to put a button on it where we stop in the story. If you have not heard Paradox Part 1 or Paradox Part 2, I say you... It's my car stopping. Stop right here. Go right over to that and listen to the Paradox Parts 1 and 2, so you know where we are in the story and know where we are in the script reading. This is going to take us for the next couple weeks here on the show, so I hope that you enjoy reading these because I have thoroughly enjoyed my reading of the script. Well, not reading my reading, but the reading of the script and hearing the stories, and as it could have been. There are things that I like in here that I wish they would have kept in the movie, especially in the 2015 future. I liked a lot that I heard there, but it's all right. We're going to roll with this script today here on Back to the Future, the podcast, Season 10. Want to use this as a moment to plug my other show, Clue the Movie Podcast. If you have not listened to that, it's myself and Jeff Smith, who's the director of Who Done It, the Clue documentary, which is available right now on Screenbox and on Amazon Prime. We are 40-plus episodes in, more than halfway done of watching Clue the movie 1 minute at a time. It's a part of the 85 trilogy that I call it. 3 of my favorite movies ever all came out in the same year. That's Back to the Future, Clue the movie, and Fletch. And if you haven't checked that podcast out, I guarantee you're going to have time. Because guess what? We talk a lot about Back to the Future on that show. Goes without saying, me being the host of this podcast, and them both coming out in the same year, and both having Christopher Lloyd in them. But if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go do so. We're more than almost halfway done with our run. And once it's over, it's over. So be along with the ride with me and Jeff Smith and all the great shows here on Gilmore Media. Again, if you have any podcast, if you're a podcaster out there and you want to find a new home for your podcast, you want to potentially be a part of what we're building over here at Gilmore Media, shoot me an email, brad@gilmoremediallc.com, and we can get into that conversation about your podcast joining our illustrious lineup, or future illustrious lineup. But without further ado, here is part 3 of Paradox, the original script, the reading of the original script for the sequels to Back to the Future. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is season 10 of the podcast, and this right now is part 3 of my reading of what we're calling Paradox.
Where do we land, Doc? Your place? Doc. Good God, no. I'd risk running into myself. Let's see, 1967? If I remember correctly, there's an abandoned barn not far from here. Marty. Barn? Exterior, Peabody Farm. Morning. An old pickup truck pulls up to the farmhouse, past a jury-rigged mailbox made out of an old bread box. The word bread has been X'd out and Peabody written below. One lone pine tree still stands by. Otis Paul Peabody gets out of the passenger side and looks around. His wife gets out of the driver's side. Paul Peabody. Sure feels good to see the old place again. Been almost 12 years. Ma Peabody. Otis, you never got to go back to that insane asylum again. We can finally take that camping trip. You're really cured. Paul Peabody. Yep, Maybelle, and us coming here proves it. The psychiatrical doctor said to go back where it all happened, and I'd for sure see that there wasn't no flying saucers. Paul looks toward the barn, and his face goes white. The flying DeLorean is descending from the sky. Paul screams. Ma turns around and sees it. She screams. The DeLorean lands in front of the barn and drives in. The Peabodys get right back into the truck. Ma floors it. The truck spins around the dirt road, takes the mailbox, and speeds away. Interior barn day. Marty watches as Doc inspects the damage. Marty, can you fix it, Doc? I mean, we're not going to be stuck here, are we? Doc, don't worry. Even if I can't repair the aerial acceleration system, we can still get up to 88 on the ground with the car's engine. As long as Mr. Fusion's intact, that's what supplies the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity into the flux capacitor. We're fine. Opens trunk. You just get over to Biff's house, grab that book, and get back here as soon as you can. Marty, right on, brother. Doc takes some tools out of the trunk. Doc, oh, and Marty, destroy that book this time. It's brought nothing but trouble. And Marty. Doc looks around for him, but Marty's already gone. Cut 2. Insert a piece of paper. On it's written Biff, 2920 Pearl Street. Exterior residential. Day. Marty checks the written address against the real thing. Biff's house is a small tract house with attached garage and a picket fence around the yard. All is quiet. It's still early in the morning. Marty looks over at the fence and then spots a large envelope on the lawn, which is written Biff Tannen, 2920 Pearl, personal. From its size and the bulge in it, there could be no doubt. This is the book. Marty, all right. Marty looks around to see if anyone was looking, then hops over the fence and he approaches the package. Suddenly, a huge growling German shepherd charges from around the side of the house. Marty beats a fast retreat. Fortunately, the dog is on a leash and can't get to Marty. Unfortunately, the book is still within the dog's territory. Marty considers the situation, then approaches gingerly. Marty, nice doggy, nice pooch. Marty creeps a little closer, but the dog decides it's too close and snaps. Marty jumps back. The dog keeps barking. Marty tries to figure out what to do. He looks around and then spots a rake in the yard. Marty smiles because he has an idea. Interior, Biff's bedroom. Biff, age 30, is in bed. The shades are drawn. He's half asleep, but he can hear the dog barking. Biff, oh, shut up, Chopper! Exterior, Biff's house. Marty crouching down, is using the rake to snag the envelope. He keeps as far from Chopper as he can. Chopper watches Marty suspiciously. Marty captures the envelope and pulls it toward him, but it gets hung up on the edge of the cement front walkway. Marty tries to dislodge it, but he can't quite do it. Chopper barks again. Intercut with Biff is in his bedroom, again stirs at the sound of the dog barking. He gets up, then the barking stops. He gets back into bed, then his clock radio goes off. Frustrated, he covers his head with a pillow. Outside, Marty continues trying to dislodge the package. Now he hears whistling, and he turns and sees the mailman is approaching the house. Marty hides behind a bush. He peeks out and watches. The mailman opens the gate and heads up the walkway. Chopper reacts, barking and charging. Mailman, sit, boy, sit! The dog obediently obeys. The ferocious animal now looks like a harmless puppy. Marty can't believe it. The mailman continues up the walk, sorting through the mail, and he walks right past the precious envelope without noticing it. Marty sighs relief. The mailman sticks Biff's mail through the mail slot in the front door. He turns around, but this time he notices the envelope on the edge of the walkway. The mailman picks it up. Marty is horrified. The mailman sees it's addressed to Biff. He goes back to the front door to push it through the mail slot, but it only goes halfway through. Marty again sighs relief. The mailman goes back down the walkway to the street. Marty checks that the coast is clear, and then he approaches the front door. Chopper charges. Marty, sit, boy, sit. Chopper obeys. Marty safely gets to the door. He reaches for the envelope, but as he touches it, it falls through the mail slot and into the house. Marty can't believe it. Interior, barn, day. Cut 2. The rear of the DeLorean is jacked up and the tools spread out nearby. Doc crawls from out underneath, satisfied. Doc, that was easy enough. Checks watch. Well, Marty, as soon as you get back here, we can go home. Biff, day. Marty shoved his hand through the mail slot, reverse angle. Marty's hand fumbles around on the other side trying to find the envelope. Biff, now fully clothed as in a workman's attire, sits on his bed and trying on his work boots. Marty sticks his arm in a little further through the slot and desperately tries to reach the envelope. Reverse angle. His hand is really close to grabbing the envelope. Marty strains a little more. Reverse angle. Marty's fingers grab the envelope. Marty's expression brightens. Now the garage door opens. Inside, a 67 Chevy Ranchero with America, love it or leave it bumper stickers. Biff, wearing a hard hat, gets in. Marty reacts with alarm. He tries to pull the envelope out. Reverse angle. With his hand holding the envelope, it won't fit through the slot. Marty tries and tries, but there is no way, and he gets both of his hands. No way that he can get both of his hands on the envelope. Biff pulls out his truck and sees Marty in the mail slot. He slams on his brakes. Biff, hey! Hey, you! Marty lets go of the book, pulls his hand out, and runs, but Chopper is there to cut off his escape. Biff is out of his truck and grabs Marty. Biff, a goddamn hippie! I ought to beat your brains out. What the hell are you doing on my property, you hippie scum, huh? Marty, nothing. I made a mistake. Biff, lying commie. I saw you were there with your hand in there. What were you trying to do? Burn down my house? He shoves Marty to the ground. Watch him, Chopper. Biff goes to the front door and opens it. It's unlocked, which gives Marty even more consternation. The pile of mail is laying right there, and Biff notices the large envelope which is clearly out of place with everything else. He examines it. Biff, what's this? It's heavy. No return address, no postage. Personal? He is about to open it, then notices Marty's pained reaction. Biff, aha! You put this here. It's some kind of bomb or booby trap. Well, I ain't falling for it. He throws it at Marty. Take it and get the hell off of my land. Marty picks it up and runs. He leaps over the picket fence and dashes down the street. He's smiling. Biff, and if I ever see your face around here again, I'll break it, you damned hippie. Cut 2, exterior courthouse, day. The clock tower as we've known it stopped at 10:04. Marty walks to the courthouse square. He has Biff's envelope in his hand and now he rips it open. Sure enough, inside it's the sports almanac. Marty sighs relief. Conservatively dressed pedestrians notice Marty in his hippie attire. They give him dirty looks and many steer wide paths around him. Marty quickly realizes that his garb makes him stick out like a sore thumb. No one else, not even teenagers, wear anything remotely similar. He walks around an Army recruiting office. A sergeant is in the doorway and scowls at Marty. A barbershop has a sign, "Keep America Beautiful, get a haircut." A barber in the doorway sees Marty and gestures invitingly with his shears. Marty shakes his head and walks on. A beat cop named Reese also gives Marty the eye. Marty tries to break the tension with a nod and a smile, but the cop reacts with contempt. Marty walks past. The cop keeps watching him. Marty sees a trash can in the town square. He walks over and drops the envelope into it. He's about to drop the book in, but he takes a moment, considering should he or shouldn't he. He sighs, he should. He drops it in the trash can. He walks away uneasily with second thoughts, constantly looking back at the trash can. He goes past the record store advertising 8-track album cartridges, live concert tickets for Janis Joplin, The Doors, and Jimi Hendrix. He looks back at the trash can. Marty notices a big ad in the bank window showing a happy family in front of a big house, 2 cars, and a boat. Money can buy happiness. Ask about our EZ home loans. Now a garbage truck comes from around the corner. Marty watches as the garbage man picks up the corner garbage can and dumps it into the truck. Marty looks back at his trash can with rising doubt. He doesn't have much time to decide. He gets an idea. He fishes in his pocket and pulls out the matchbook from Biff's hotel. Insert matchbook. The image of Biff and his hotel logo are literally fading out before Marty's very eyes, and in moments he's left with an ordinary blank matchbook. Marty is elated. Now his decision is easy. He goes back to the trash can, rummages around, rescues the almanac just as the garbage truck pulls up. Marty puts the book in his knapsack and starts walking. Suddenly, a hand comes on his shoulder. It's Reese the cop. Reese, new in town, kid? Marty, well, yeah, sorta. Reese, what's your name? Marty? Marty what? Did I do something wrong? That depends. Around here, loitering and scourging through trash cans suggests vagrancy. Let's see some ID, Marty. Like your driver's license? Well, I don't have one with me right now. Reese, how about a school ID? Or your draft card? You must have a draft card. Marty, no. You don't have a draft card, Marty? Wait, is there some kind of law against that or something? Officer Reese gives Marty a very dirty look. Cut to interior jail cell day. The cell door slams as shut on a horrified Marty. Reese looks up at the police chief and lays down the law. Chief, violation of the Selective Services Act is a serious federal crime, kid, and we don't like dirty hippie draft registers in our community. Draft resistors, excuse me. Now you're entitled to a phone call, so why don't you call your parents and get them down here? Marty, I think I should talk to a lawyer. You know what I think, Chief? I think he's one of those outside agitators. I have the right to a lawyer. A lawyer, eh? Sure, we'll get you a lawyer, kid. When we get around to it. They walk off, leaving Marty alone and scared. Cut to interior barn day. Doc is asleep. Doc Brown is asleep at the front seat of the DeLorean. Exterior barn day. Pa and Ma Peabody creeping alongside the side of the barn. Pa has a shotgun. Ma Peabody, Otis, I still say we should call the police. Pa Peabody, we will, but first I'm gonna disable that thing so it don't get away. Can't have them thinking we're crazy. They come to the opened bar dorm where they see the DeLorean sitting there. Paul raises his shotgun and fires. Buckshot rips into the rear of the DeLorean and sparks shoot out of Mr. Fusion, followed by thick smoke. Paul Peabody, Jehoshaphat! Doc awakens with a start and opens the gull wing door. Ma Peabody, you made it mad, Otis. It's coming out. Run for it! The Peabodys run like hell. Doc gets out of the DeLorean and sees smoke coming from the back. Before he can deal with it, a small explosion destroys Mr. Fusion. Doc stares in horror at the damage. He picks up a mangled piece of metal that has Mr. Fusion on it. Doc, now we've got a problem. Cut to interior jail cell. Marty sits alone in the cell. head in his hands, helpless. Approaching footsteps, Marty looks up as Reese lets a black man, 34, into the cell. He has a huge afro hairdo and carries himself like a militant. Reese: all right, you meet your public defender, Goldie Wilson. Goldie: that's Muhammad Wilson to you. The cop snickers, leaving Marty to stare at Goldie. What are you looking at? You don't think a black man can do this job as well as a white man? Well, you're wrong, brother. Black is beautiful, and I am beautiful. I have worked and sweated and persevered, putting myself through law school to become the best that I can be. And that makes me the best attorney in this community and the best legal representation that you can possibly have. Is that understood? Marty: what is it? What it is, brother, what it is. This is slang which Goldie Wilson doesn't understand. Goldie: what is what? Marty: never mind. Look, I gotta get out of here. Goldie looks over Marty's rap sheet. Goldie: no ID, no last name, no draft card. You're not making this easy. Now, to get out of here, you need $500. But you can't get a bond. Yourself without ID. However, if you come clean on this, I can get you off on vagrancy, which is a $50 fine. Just go on the record about who you are. Marty: I can't. Goldie: man, I'm trying to fight for you and fight for your rights, but you have to level with me and get down to some facts. Marty sighs and thinks. All right, here's what you can do. Go out and publicize this thing. Say a kid named Marty is in jail because he doesn't have ID. Get it in the newspaper, on the radio, pass it around. When a certain person I know hears about it, he'll come get me out. I hope. Marty: Goldie: I can be with that, but this cat on the outside's gonna know what Marty means to you. Marty: well, describe my clothes and use my last name, DeLorean. Cut to interior jail cell window, night. Marty looks out the cell window at the night sky. He sighs, then paces impatiently around his cell. Finally, the jail cop comes back with the keys. Jail cop: you're in luck, hippie. You made bail. Marty: all right, Doc. I knew you'd pull it off. The cop opens the cell, and Marty follows him out. Interior police station, night. Marty signs a form, and the jail cop hands him back his wallet. Marty opens it. Where's my $300? Impounded as evidence. You'll get it back after your trial, if it's really yours. Or this is yours too. He gives Marty back the knapsack. Marty checks inside. The sports almanac is still in there. Now he looks around the police station for Doc Brown, but Doc's not here. Marty: where is he? The guy who paid my bail. Guy? You're a little confused. Woman, off screen: I paid your bail. It's Lorraine. Lorraine is 29 and looks like a flower child with long straight hair with a flower in it and a granny dress. She wears another Mother for Peace button. Marty's mouth falls open. Lorraine: Marty DeLorean, right? I read about you in the paper. Extends her hand. I'm Lorraine McFly. Marty shakes her hand. Hi, thanks for bailing me out. Jail cop: I hope you know what you're doing, ma'am. If he skips town or doesn't show up for his trial next month, you'll forfeit the whole $500. Lorraine: oh, I can tell just by looking at him he would never do a thing like that. A mother's instinct. Marty smiles weakly. Cut to exterior police station, night. Marty and Lorraine exit the police station together. Lorraine: you seem very surprised about all this, Marty. Yeah, that's one way to describe it. Well, there are a lot of us in town who really believe in what you're doing, resisting the draft and all. It takes a lot of guts to be willing to go to jail for your beliefs, and I admire that. Marty: yeah, me too. You see, I have a little boy, David. He's only 5 years old, but I'd hate for him to ever have to go off to war. Marty: don't worry about that. Lorraine: and my brother, Toby, he's going to be 18 next year. He might even go to Vietnam. It would be good for him to talk to you, somebody his own age. Marty chuckles at the irony. Yeah, his own age. Lorraine: then you'll talk to him? Great. In fact, we're having dinner at my folks tonight. Mom won't mind an extra mouth. Marty: Well, I really should be going. Lorraine, going where? Marty, well, I was sort of gonna meet somebody. I'll give you a ride. My car's right there. Lorraine points to a 63 Rambler wagon. Well, it's actually kind of far out of town, actually. Marty, you can't leave town or I'll lose my bail money. And think of what it'll do to the movement. The movement? The anti-war movement. Most people like my father think the draft resistors are cowards. They don't understand that there are principles involved. But if you run off, they'll say, see, we told you he was a coward. You'd be setting a terrible example. Marty, look, Lorraine, Mom, Mrs. McFly, I think you think I'm something I'm not. Lorraine, don't be so modest. Goldie Wilson said he'd never met such a determined, uncompromising young man. Now you're joining us for dinner and I won't take no for an answer.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed my reading of Paradox. We're going to be back next week, next episode, with another reading of the script. Paradox Part 4 is on the way, but until next time, this is Back to the Future, the podcast, the only podcast looking back in time, Chris, film trilogy of all time, Back to the Future. I'm your friend in time, Brad Gilmore, and I will see you in the future.